नमस्कार दोस्तों, गुड इवनिंग, वेलकम टू स्वास्थ्यमेव जयते एंड वेलकम टू आकांक्षा डिजायर फॉर वेलनेस। संडे की शाम, जैसा कि आप सब जानते हैं, स्वास्थ्यमेव जयते में हमारे साथ जुड़ते हैं एक डॉक्टर और किसी एक पर्टिकुलर समस्या को लेके उसके बारे में हमें समझाते हैं। तो आज हमारे साथ जुड़ रहे हैं डॉक्टर आशीष जोशी। और डॉक्टर आशीष जोशी पहले भी आ चुके हैं इस प्लेटफॉर्म पे, और आज का जो टॉपिक है दैट्स अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक वेयर इन डॉक्टर जोशी इज गोइंग टू टेल अस लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स. सो वेलकम डॉक्टर जोशी. And so before I start asking you questions, I would like to, give a formal introduction of Dr. Joshi. So Dr. Ashish Joshi is MD, DM, gold medalist, and Dr. Joshi is the director and consultant medical oncologist, Mumbai Oncocare Center, and he's a consultant medical oncologist at Nanavati Super Speciality Hospital and HCG Hospital, Mumbai. So welcome, Dr. Joshi, and the topic for today is breast cancer, and this is something which we really need to understand, because I think, like, in even now in our country, it is something which is people, I mean, women do not know much about it. So if I would like to ask you this first question, that what is the current status of breast cancer in India?
So, good evening, everyone. Good evening to all our viewers. Uh, this is a very important question because now breast cancer is the commonest cancer in women in Indian population. A few years ago, it was the cervical cancer, but now it's the topmost amongst Indian women, both urban and rural, as far as the cancer incidence is concerned. So, understanding of this disease is extremely pertinent for a common population.
Okay. So, and because, like people, especially when we talk about women, they do not understand what are the symptoms, and when they get to know about it, they don't understand how to react to it, and, to tell the family members. So, let us understand everything today, how we can cope up with this particular issue. So, what are the actual, methods of diagnosis of breast cancer?
So, most primarily, it is important to understand that cancer, as we typically know, is proximally associated with pain. But this is, I would like to enlighten my viewers here, especially all the women who are in the audience, is that typically a breast cancer lump is a painless lump and hence often ignored. I would just like to repeat here again that it is typically a painless lump. It's not painful, and hence women often tend to ignore because it does not give a lot of discomfort initially. So it is very important that we, as a population, we understand the symptoms which are related to breast cancer. That is the first step that we all need to educate ourselves. So a painless lump in the breast, okay, need not necessarily that all painless lumps are cancerous. Also, painless lumps in the underarms or in the early neck area. Okay,
Okay.
so these are the signs that could probably herald a onset of breast cancer. But again, some very very important caveats is that usually breast cancer is unusual before the third or fourth decade. So usually breast cancer is a disease of patients above the age of 40 years. It's very very unusual before that. So many times there are so many benign, that means non-cancerous breast lumps, which also could be painless. Hence, you need not panic around or get worried. But it is very important that any lump in the breast which a woman observes, and especially it is painless, should be notified and should be then they should be consulting a correct doctor or a concerned doctors to take this further, and it cannot be ignored.
Okay, okay. So, what are the marked differences in the scenario of breast cancer diagnosis and its management when we do a comparative study in India and abroad?
So, very important that how do we detect this cancer early? As a lay person, that is the first question that one would want to understand. And there are two steps in this particular understanding. First is the understanding about what these symptoms are, which I just highlighted in in the questions that you asked me before, but I would just allude to that again, that it's a painless lump that we need to be aware of. And secondly, as all women, those who are above age of 45 years should undergo a routine mammography. Mammography is a nothing but an X-ray of the breast in order to understand or pick the disease early. And this is something which is very often ignored in Indian population. So if you
Okay.
typically see the mammographic coverage in the Western counterpart is very high compared with Indian population, and hence uh, we often tend to see these cancers in a very advanced stage uh, because of
Okay.
the because of the lack of awareness about the symptoms. That's point number one, and lack of awareness about mammography to have been done as a part of a routine health checkup.
Okay. So you mean to say that even the urban population women, they are not aware of this, or they do not want to go for this or something like that? Because you see, when we talk about the educated population, the women have some kind of awareness. So do you feel that, even in urban society, this problem is there, that women are not going for mammography after the age of 40? So do you find this? Or, I mean,
So this is extremely relevant. So even in urban Indian population, where the education levels are good, the overall understanding is quite deep. Still, the penetration and the prevalence of getting a mammographics done is quite suboptimal, and hence we
oh,
see these results. So maybe there is awareness, but then probably there is some barrier of going to the diagnostic center and getting these things done. But
oh.
yes, I think this needs to be very, very much inculcated in our population. Yes.
Yeah, this is little surprising because we think that the urban population are aware and definitely they would go for it. Okay, but there is one more thing which I've heard about, and that is hormone dependent breast cancer. So what does this mean?
So typically, some of the breast cancers, not all, are dependent on the exposure of the hormonal levels of the breast, and hence you typically know that the hormone levels are high during a sexually active period, which is from start of menses to the end of menses. So in a scientific parlance, it is called as menarche and menopause. So those patients who have early menarche and a late menopause, which is typically what is now seen in urban Indian population, very similar to the Western counterpart, there is an increased exposure of hormones to the breast, and hence sometimes they tend to develop breast cancer. So this is one of the important reason why the breast cancer incidence has increased in the recent years in Indian population as well, because of the change in the menstrual patterns or the sexual patterns because of the early menarche and the late menopause. And we can dwell into the reasons why this particular thing happened, but that is how the change has happened. And this is to do with a lot of other issues like lifestyle changes, obesity, diet, and so on and so forth. But per se, not again, the message is not that the hormonal exposure is the only risk factor for breast cancer. It is one of the important risk factor, but not the only risk factor for developing a breast cancer.
Okay, okay. So, when we talk about the average life expectancy of breast cancer patient, so at various stages of diagnosis, what has improved over time, and is there anything encouraging?
Yeah. So breast cancer is a highly treatable and a curable disease. That is something which is very heartening to know. And the overall outcomes of patients with breast cancer has actually improved dramatically over a period of last 2 to 3 decades. Part of it is obviously, as I mentioned to you before, is because of the increased awareness, and slowly we are also adapting. Indian population is also adapting, albeit there is a lot of way to go still. But increased awareness, early detection, and improved therapies, most primarily, which includes both medical treatment, surgical treatment, and radiotherapy, have actually improved the survival rates of breast cancer like anything, and it is considered as one of the highly curable cancer to have been seen in either of the population, both men and women.
Okay, okay. So there's another term, which we come across, that is biomarkers. So what are biomarkers, and what is this particular, ER, PR, and HER2 breast cancers? which sometimes, we hear these terms. Yeah.
Yeah. So, as we know, we have our personalities. Every individual is different. Similarly, every cancer is different, and every individual's cancer is also different. So, on the tissue, on the biopsy that we do for diagnosis of breast cancer, which is obviously is very very important, we try to fathom what is the personality of a particular tumor, and this possibly gets us back to your question of whether it's a hormone dependent tumor or no. Hence, there are typically three important biomarkers which are actually an external personality of an individual tumor, which is estrogen receptors, progesterone receptors, and HER2 receptor. Uh, Pardon me for the technical jargons, but in a nutshell, yes, some of these expressions, especially the ER and PR, if they are positive, that means the breast cancer is hormone dependent, and certain therapies can be given accordingly. Similarly, sometimes there is a HER2/neu is also one of the important biomarker which is overexpressed in certain women with breast cancer, and if they are overexpressed, number one, it suggests that this breast cancer is very aggressive, but number two is that we now have a medicines to counter that as well in order to achieve cure. So that's how we
Okay.
need to look at as far as the biomarker testing is concerned, and it's an essential part of diagnostic evaluation for any patient with breast cancer.
Okay. So, another question comes that can a non-oncologist or gynecologist treat breast cancer? So, is it possible for them also to treat this type of cancer?
So, gynecologists as well as non-onco colleagues and doctors are very, very important component of whole treatment of breast cancer management. So it's just not one. It's just not. It's always a team approach, correct? Because their role in patient education, their role in early detection is very, very critical. Hence, they are a very important part of our team as far as the treatment decision making is concerned. But subsequent to the diagnosis, of course, since it's a very specialized field now, oncologists usually take over the treatment planning, and it is done as per the protocols and the systems that is followed in the contemporary science.
Okay, okay. So, can you please enlighten us, our audience, with the conventional and newer treatment options, for breast cancer, especially for patients in India?
So again, I'm very happy to say that whatever happens abroad, both in the Western world as well as in other parts of the world, same and the best possible treatment we are offering to all our patients, irrespective of their profile, their socio-economic status, and we can probably offer everything now under the roof, and what is best to all our patients here in India, both in urban semi-urban settings. So, what has changed in the breast cancer treatment is the newer and newer concepts. Previously, it was very often said that for every breast cancer, the complete breast removal is important, but that's no more the case. You could achieve the same results
Okay.
by just removing that part of the breast, uh, albeit in a very specific population, and try to control it as much as what you would have otherwise done by complete removal of the breast, because this is very very important from the cosmetic point of view, from the psychosocial health of a patient.
Hmm.
Because many times patients simply refuse to undergo treatment just because of the fear factor of complete removal of the breast, and also there is a myth that complete removal of the breast will probably cure everything. Second important thing is that surgery alone is not sufficient. So
Okay.
typically, breast cancer, though it's only localized to a particular breast, it's not typically a local disease. Typically, what we call is as a micrometastasis. That is, the small germs of these cancer cells are actually there everywhere in the body, and hence,
Hmm.
after the surgery for the breast cancer, typically it has to be followed up with either some rounds of chemotherapy or some hormonal manipulation depending on the biomarkers. And that concept of that the disease cannot be treated alone with surgery. In fact, medical treatment is now one of the most important and evolving treatment for breast cancer, which is almost universal for all women with breast cancer, needs to be highlighted for all our audience here.
Okay. Dr. Joshi, somewhere I read, recently that 50 to 60% of breast cancer patients do not need chemotherapy. So, is this statement true?
Yeah, so it depends on what stage have you picked up the disease. Uh, and secondly, it also depends on the biomarker, that is the personality of the tumor, which I had mentioned to you before. So, for a certain group of patients who have been picked up in an early stage, say for example, stage one or early part of the stage two, and those patients who have got a very high hormone receptor levels, that is ERPR positive, then some of these patients could probably may not require chemotherapy or radiotherapy, and could probably be given only hormonal medicines to control slash cure the disease. So yes, it
Okay.
is right. So it's not that every patient requires chemotherapy, because now we have got so many non-chemotherapeutic options which are available for a specific group of breast cancer patients, not for all. And that is something which has to happen with the discretion and consultation with oncologists.
Okay, okay. So we also are aware of this immunotherapy. So is it available for breast cancer treatment also or not? I mean,
So immunotherapy is a very evolving concept, and it has got an established role in many tumors across in solid tumors as well as for certain blood disorders as well. Uh, Breast cancer is also one of the disease which can be treated with immunotherapy. So basically, immunotherapy, it's very important to understand that these are basically drugs which are prescribed by medical oncologists, because it's a specific group of these drugs which stimulate your own immunity. They boost up your own immunity to kill your cancer cells. So it's basically concept wise quite different than the chemotherapy, and hence it comes with an advantage that it has got a very minimal side effects compared with typical chemotherapy side effects. So breast
okay.
cancer, yes, can be treated, but there are very important caveats that it is not immunotherapy is not used for all stages of breast cancer. Number two, there are
Okay.
only specific group of breast cancer which have certain biomarkers which are positive. Then these are the only patients who are a candidate for immunotherapy. So let's also
Okay.
try to highlight that this is a very important tool in the treatment algorithm of breast cancer, but it does not necessarily mean that it's a nirvana of treatment, and it has to
Okay.
be used judiciously in a specific group of population which we obviously do get benefited with the use of this drug. Sorry.
Okay. 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 So, yeah, Dr. Joshi, you spoke about mammography, when we started the session. So, there is, something I have heard about screening. Now, what are the screening recommendations for breast cancer? If you could explain the audience, because they might not be knowing this. For a layman, it's difficult to understand. Yeah.
Correct. So screening recommendations for breast cancers are very simple. Number one is patients education and awareness about what breast cancer is. That is number one. Number two is subjecting going for a mammography after the age of 45 years, once in a
Mhm.
year. And number three is that intermittently we should be the patient should be, or rather the population should be palpating their own breast, especially prior to the menstrual period, just to be
Mhm.
aware that any lumps are there or no.
Okay, okay, okay. So, okay. So I think, but still, when you said that urban population is still, maybe awareness is there, but then people are not ready to go for mammography or something, that restricts them. So, what would what would be your advice to such kind of women or audience? Because we are not going to talk about the rural population, at least the urban population, if they get the message, that
Correct.
they should be doing this. So if you can, advise something to them, yeah.
Yeah. So one of the important barrier was that probably one is mammography is too much of a painful procedure. So it is absolutely
Okay.
not. It's a very painless procedure, and it's just in an X-ray of the breast. Number two, important barrier or a misconception is that it causes a lot of radiation exposure. So which is also not the case, because it's just a low dose of X-rays which are given to the breast. So these are the two important, very important barriers that are there, which probably prohibit women from going for mammography. Number three is the availability of this particular test is, especially now we are talking about urban India, it is available across most of the centers, and probably, as if you could speak of Mumbai, then probably every suburb would have almost 4 to 5 mammography centers, and most of them are very standard and doing a good job. So availability also is not a concern, and fourth importantly also cost. So it's not an expensive test at all. So I think putting all these four things together, I think we need to reiterate and highlight here that this is a very, very impactful test, and it's very, very important preventive tool for picking up breast cancer early.
Okay, so if we talk about the rural population, okay, now it's challenging, I understand, because the people are not educated, and especially a women going to the doctor and getting the examination done is very difficult. So how do you find, if you do a comparative study of urban and rural population? So naturally they are not in that position, So how, as a doctor, you can suggest them, or maybe you can tell them, or you can guide them, these things you have, like for example you said, if there is a painless lump, so that might be cancer. So now explaining this to a rural woman becomes very difficult, or it is a little challenging. So how do we work on this particular thing?
Yeah. So again, it boils down to the same question is again education. So mass education
Education.
about this particular disease is very, very important, and we need to use various platforms, be it a
Mhm.
governmental, non-governmental, social media, because I'm sure now rural India also is not, it's very much in the ambit of telecommunication modules. So so that is how it could be done. Number two is that we can probably, and the initiatives are that there are so many rural cancer centers which are arranging mammography camps, which
Uh,
can probably
yes.
make people aware
Okay.
of this particular test which is available. And thirdly, most importantly, the local doctor population, of course, is being aware. They need to be taken into the consideration for extensive rounds of patient education, because finally it again boils down to patient education only, because it is very going to be very impossible for us to go and palpate
Yes.
breast for every woman in
Yes.
both urban and rural population. So through various platforms that we have, we need to make people aware of this disease, its curability, and the myths and the dogmas associated with this
Yes.
particular disease, which is so common.
Yeah, yeah. So I think this is rightly said. You said, I mean, education is very important, because unless until we educate them, they won't understand. So I think, Dr. Joshi, we have covered all the questions, and I mean, the topic is little, not a very simple topic, but then the way you have explained, in a very simple way for a layman to understand, that was very nice. And thank you for joining in here. I know you have a very busy schedule. So
Thank
thanks
you.
a lot, and looking forward to meet you again with another topic, soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.